Hello, I'm Dr. Ziggy from Zbigatron.com, and welcome to this video where I comment and react, I guess, to the latest article by Sam Altman called The Intelligence Age that he published in September 23 of 2024. Now, Sam Altman, he is the CEO of OpenAI, the people behind ChatGPT, the groundbreaking tool, large language model that is reshaping the way we work and do our everyday chores nearly. Those that read my blog know that I believe AI is overhyped as it currently stands. We are creating a financial bubble. OpenAI has recently been valued at $150 billion, despite their return on investment being not even near that amount. So they're banking a lot on the growth of artificial intelligence. And this is what this article is basically about, that AI is going to get considerably superior to what it is now. Let's get to it, and then I'll start explaining all these things that I'm talking about as we go along. So, The Intelligence Age by Sam Altman. Firstly, the title. I've never heard of this term being used. He may be coining it, maybe not, but it is significant that he is describing the current era that we are operating in, called the Intelligence Age. In the next couple of decades, we will be able to do things that would have seemed like magic to our grandparents. This phenomenon is not new, but it will be newly accelerated. People have become dramatically more capable over time. We can already accomplish things now that our predecessors would have believed to be impossible. That's true. That's true to a certain degree, of course. When I started out in artificial intelligence in 2004, I worked on a project, a vision system for a soccer playing robot for the famous RoboCup tournament, one of these things. And that robot that you see right there, that was exactly what I was working on. What you see here, I suspect, is what we were doing. In fact, there's a camera pointed directly up to a convex mirror that gives the robot a 360-degree view of its surroundings. And my job was to design a mirror like this and to get a camera and a laptop to work together, and then to, in real time, analyze the images that were coming in from this 360-degree reflection of this convex mirror. And I remember starting out in computer vision, artificial intelligence way back then, 20 years ago, thinking to myself, wow, these machines are really inept at the task that we're setting them. I mean, the robots back then couldn't do basic things like discern what kind of objects are in a picture. Given a controlled scenario like you see on the screen here, where the ball is clearly visible because it's yellow and it's clearly distinguishable from the green floor, the white line markings, each robot has distinct colors on it. That's a controlled situation scenario. And back then, the environment was even more controlled. The ball could not go out of bounds. There were barriers on the side. So the ball kept bouncing in, bouncing off. There were more markers for the cameras to get their bearings from. So the corner flags had different colors and things like that. Now, as technology has progressed, that they've made the task of soccer playing robots a little bit more difficult. But in the real world, computer vision couldn't do much. And I remember thinking to myself, I show a picture of the beach to a machine and I ask it to tell me what is in that picture, and it couldn't do it. It was much too difficult of a task. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, machines are never going to be able to do this kind of task. This kind of task of give it an image and tell it what is in that image. Give it some cars and tell it what kind of cars, what make and model of a car it is. And to me back then, that was an insurmountable task for a machine. I thought, no, there's no way this is going to happen. Fast forward 20 years and here we are, and that task is solved. There's actually a very famous XKCD comic describing this that is outdated as well, just like my thinking. This is it right here. When a user takes a photo, the app should check whether they're in a national park. Sure, easy GIS lookup, give me a few hours. And check whether the photo is of a bird. I'll need a research team and 5 years. And then the comment down the bottom, in computer science, it can be hard to explain the difference between the easy and the virtually impossible. Now that was the case. Let's say, is there a date on this? No, there is. But when I was doing my PhD in artificial intelligence, I started in 2010. That was the situation back then. Doing something like getting the app to check what the location is of the photo is easy, but getting the app to detect what objects are in the photo is 5 years worth of research. Now, it seems as though we've more or less solved that problem. So, and we've come a long way with all other things, language processing, language understanding, and all those things. We have definitely come a long way, further than I could have possibly imagined. So what he's saying there is true. We are more capable not because of genetic change, but because we benefit from the infrastructure of society being way smarter and more capable than any of us. In an important sense, society itself is a form of advanced intelligence. Our grandparents and the generations that came before them built and achieved great things. They contributed to the scaffolding of human progress that we all benefit from. AI will give people tools to solve hard problems and help us add new struts to that scaffolding that we couldn't have figured out on our own. The story of progress will continue and our children will be able to do things we can't. Now, it's hard to disagree with this particular paragraph. We are more capable than we've ever been, as I've just described, the progression of computer vision from not being able to do a seemingly simple task of detecting what kind of objects are in an image to being able to do that pretty much with its eyes closed, so to speak. My question, though, is this: the story of progress will continue and our children will be able to do things we can't. How true is that? I believe it is true, but let's continue on and see what Sam Altman means by this. It won't happen all at once, but we'll soon be able to work with AI that helps us accomplish much more than we ever could without AI. Eventually, we can each have a personal AI team full of virtual experts in different areas, working together to create almost anything we can imagine. Now, we've gone from where ChatGPT is at the moment, which is a good tool, but not a perfect tool, to suddenly having a personal AI team full of virtual experts in different areas working together to create almost anything we can imagine. That's a significant shift. A shift that I suspect assumes understanding and assumes comprehension on the AI team. Now, those that read my blog know about this quote. I mention this a lot. Machines operate on the level of knowledge. We operate on the level of knowledge and understanding. And I believe that there is a fundamental difference between humans and machines. It's not difficult to see this if you use tools like ChatGPT on a daily basis, right? These things are just machines that exhibit no understanding whatsoever. It's easy to cherry pick examples and to read media stories, to read articles like this that go into, let's say, science fiction and claim things about us in the future having a personal AI team. But at the bottom of everything, these are still just machines that exhibit no understanding. Whether in the future there will be some kind of understanding, I don't believe there is, because machines are lifeless things. They are heartless. That just follow instructions that we give them. But that's beside the point. We haven't created anything that even remotely exhibits understanding. So here we are. This is the first kind of thing that Sam Altman has said that I'm slowly starting to disagree with. Our children will have virtual tutors who can provide personalized instruction in any subject, in any language, and at whatever pace they need. We can imagine similar ideas for better healthcare, the ability to create any kind of software someone can imagine, and much more. Yeah, virtual tutors, I guess, are a possibility because ChatGPT is capable of holding lengthy conversations with someone and guiding them in understanding certain things, and especially when it comes to learning languages or learning topics. But anybody that has used ChatGPT for these kinds of things, once again, they have to come to the conclusion that these tools are just lifeless machines. They are virtual tutors. They cannot replace real life tutors. There's nothing that can replace learning a particular subject with a master of a given subject, someone who has charisma, someone who has enthusiasm, someone who is capable of instilling this enthusiasm for a particular genre, for a particular subject onto their pupils. Nothing can change this one-on-one tutoring that you can get. And I'm sure most of you would have stories like that from your time at school, from teachers that inspired you, from university lecturers that inspired you in this sort of way. So yes, I don't doubt that this particular thing is possible. But once again, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. I'll keep going. With these new abilities, we can have shared prosperity to a degree that seems unimaginable today. In the future, everyone's lives can be better than anyone's life is now. Prosperity alone doesn't necessarily make people happy. There are plenty of miserable rich people, but it would meaningfully improve the lives of people around the world. Yeah, I mean, talk about extrapolating to extremes. With these new abilities, we can have shared prosperity to a degree that seems unimaginable today. I mean, that's talking about a utopia, isn't it? Is that really reality? Has history taught us nothing? I mean, it's just like communism, for example. You know, it's all well and good on paper, but human nature doesn't necessarily act this way. And history is time and time again that this idea of shared prosperity to a degree that seems unimaginable today is a pipe dream. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's keep going. Here is one narrow way to look at human history. After thousands of years of compounding scientific discovery and technological progress, we have figured out how to melt sand, add some impurities, arrange it with astonishing precision at extraordinarily tiny scale into computer chips, run energy through it, and end up with systems capable of creating increasingly capable artificial intelligence. True. It is a very narrow way of looking at it, and it is a way of framing human history in this narrow way of looking at it. Let's continue. This may turn out to be the most consequential fact about all of history so far. It is possible that we will have super intelligence in a few thousand days, ! It may take longer, but I'm confident we'll get there. Now, this is where I start to really have problems with Sam's writing here. This may turn out to be the most consequential fact about all of history so far, right? So everything that has happened so far, now we are in the information age, the age to live in, because everything that our predecessors have done in the past does not compare to what we are achieving at the moment. It is possible that we will have super intelligence in a few thousand days. All right. First of all, what does he mean by super intelligence? What do you mean by that? Now, I lecture artificial intelligence, so I can tell you that in the general consensus of terminology used for AI, there are 3 levels of artificial intelligence. There is what's called weak or narrow AI. Then there is AGI, general artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and ASI, artificial superintelligence. We have only achieved AI at the first level, weak AI. Weak AI means AI that can do a single task very, very well. AGI would be AI that can do multiple tasks very, very well. For example, cooking dinner for you and driving your car. Whereas ASI is basically being better at humans at most things, just being super intelligent, superseding humans in all intelligent tasks. So he has jumped from weak AI, he has skipped AGI and gone straight to super intelligence in a few thousand days. No, because we haven't even achieved the second stage of artificial intelligence yet. And if you listen to other people's opinions on the matter, other people who have just as much authority, and I would argue even more authority, like Jan LeCun, for example. He is chief AI scientist at Meta, and one could say that he helped give birth to today's artificial intelligence boom. He is a real scientist as opposed to Sam Altman. This AI pioneer thinks AI is dumber than a cat. Jan LeCun, NYU professor and senior researcher at Meta Platforms, says warnings about the technology's existential peril are complete BS. And he's not the only one that's saying this. He's not the only one saying that AI is overhyped. There's all this idea of superintelligence is BS, and that there is a financial bubble being created surrounding artificial intelligence. Why aren't we listening to him, for example? A professor in artificial intelligence. And like I said, he's not the only one. I've been involved in AI for 20 years as well. I understand how these things work, and getting from where we are now to superintelligence in a few thousand days is incredibly unlikely. Now, Sam Altman says it may take longer, but I'm confident we'll get there. That's fine if you're confident, but making statements like this is, as Jan LeCun would say, complete BS. Let's continue on with the article. How did we get to the doorstep of the next leap in prosperity? In 3 words, deep learning worked. Now, deep learning definitely did work. It definitely did do a lot. Deep learning has been a revolution in AI. Deep learning has allowed us to do things that I thought were impossible. For example, with what I said earlier, detecting simple objects in images, things that I thought would be impossible for a machine to do. Deep learning's been around for 10 years, more or less. 2012, it resurfaced, and then it took a few years for the industry to catch up with academia. And now here we are. It's a new way of doing artificial intelligence. It's a new algorithm, let's call it that. And yes, deep learning has done amazing things. In 15 words, deep learning worked, got predictably better with scale, and we dedicated increasing resources to it. True. So the way that deep learning works is that you set up a neural network, and the neural network resembles in a very small way how our minds work. We set up these little neurons that receive signals from other neurons and decide what to do with these signals. And do they push the signals on? Where they push the signals to? Do they amplify the signals? Do they make them less powerful? And the breakthrough with deep learning was that they set up neural networks that had millions of these neurons doing these very simple calculations, but there were so many of them that they realized that all these neurons could capture complex patterns from our reality. They could start to learn how a cat looks like, how a dog looks like, how a bird looks like, how a person looks like, and then feeding an image through this neural network, firing all these signals through this neural network. They realized that, it works. Spreading out this complex reality over a large, vast neural network allows this algorithm to capture the intricate complexities to some degree of our reality. And what they've come to learn is that the larger the neural network, the more complex the patterns it can learn from our reality. The problem is that the larger the neural network, the more data you need and the more time you need to give this neural network to learn these intricate patterns. So if you keep expanding these neural networks, you'll need more data to feed into it, and you'll just need more computational power, which means more expenses. So yes, it is true that deep learning worked, got predictably better with scale, and we dedicated increasing resources to it. That's really it, says Sam Altman. Is it? Let's continue.
Hi guys, this is Dr. Ziggy from the future. So this video took a lot longer to record than I initially expected. So what I've decided to do is to break it down into two parts. This will be the end of the first part, and stay tuned for the second part that should be coming out soon.